Clay, and I'm playing some more Battlefield 3 today, rocking the AN-94 in the Assault class, and the AN-94 is a gun that's really been growing on me lately. It's extremely accurate and extremely powerful for those mid-range gunfights. I actually think that, you know, I've got the heavy barrel on it and running the Cobra red dot sight, and I think as it is now, this might be the most powerful setup in the game for medium range. It is so strong. You know, and it's not so good close range, which is why I complement it with the G18, because I think that's one of the best close range guns in the game. But I think that the AN-94, it's not as versatile as like the M16 or the M416 or even the AEK, but for medium range fights, medium long range, it is so good. And it's kind of cool to kind of adapt your playstyle to it, because it can be really, really rewarding and powerful. You know, just because those two bullets are dead on accurate, and if you pace it properly, you know, this thing is just a laser. But playing some 64-man Operation Metro Rush on the attacker side, and this is actually a German server, so my latency wasn't very good, but overall it was a fun game. 64-man Metro servers are always insane, and you get a ton of kills. Like, your score per minute just skyrockets whenever you play on a server like this, which is, you know, it kind of is a little bit of the tactics and strategy aren't so much there. It's just a little bit more mindless, a little bit more, you know, just kind of point and shoot, which can be fun. I think it's kind of a fun change of pace from other, you know, smaller rush servers that can be a little bit more tactical. You know, and a lot of times in servers like that, if your teammate work isn't very good, it can be extremely aggravating. But in a server like this, you know, like teamwork and stuff like that isn't, like, the likelihood of 63 other guys not understanding how to play rush is so small that there'll at least be a couple of guys that'll try to defend. And, you know, in some ways, cheesy gun mechanics can start taking over, like guys who use the dart or explosives can be really crazy. But luckily this server actually had a restriction on, oh, look at all these patty cakes. But this server had a restriction on the number of, you couldn't use RPG or SMAW or Claymore or C4, I think pretty much almost any explosive other than grenades, which I think is essential for if you're going to play this game type. But yeah, overall, I've been digging it. I've been digging Metro, and one thing I wanted to show here, so this guy, he was hiding there, and that tipped me off by seeing that dead body there. I was thinking, you know, there's got to be, he died from somewhere. So it seems extremely likely that there might be a guy around the corner, and a lot of times you'll see other guys on your team. So, like, example right there, that guy's down in front of me. I'm going to put some shots down range to suppress and then revive. You don't want to be the guy, if you're playing the medic class, who just runs in there in chaos and revives, you know, whatever you see, the heart pep emoticon signal. You want to make sure it's clear. You want to at least try to suppress the enemy, or kill the guy who killed him. Because they're likely going to be still watching that area, and they're going to be waiting for you to come and try to revive. It's almost like fishing. I think it's a pretty common tactic. But you want to make sure it's clear, and you want to make sure that you've cleared out whoever killed that guy in the first place, because otherwise he's just going to kill him again. So just a quick tip on if you're playing medic, try to make sure that you clear the way before you do your revive. But yeah, what I really wanted to talk about today is grinding in video games. And no, I'm not talking about dancing, but I'm talking about anytime you're doing something in a video game that you aren't very excited about. It might be a little bit tedious. It might be, you know, a means to an end. It's something that gets you to the point where you really want to be. So in Battlefield, let's say you really want to unlock the 3.4 scope on your SV98. You know, you got to go through a number of different unlocks and attachments and get a ton of kills before you can actually get to that point where you get that unlock. And especially because it starts with an 8x zoom, you're going to have to use it in a manner different than you want to use it with 3.4x zoom. So it's going to be a little bit tedious. It might be a little bit, you know, you're probably not going to be very excited about it. And it's going to take some work. But I think grinding is a really important video game mechanic, and I think it can really make the experience very enriching and very fun. I think it really adds to the fun factor. That might seem counterintuitive. You might be thinking to yourself, Clay, you just defined grinding as doing something that is tedious or you're not very excited about to get to something that you are excited about. But in my defense, the reason I think grinding is awesome, and the reason why I think it adds to the fun of a game, is because once you finally reach that point where you've unlocked that attachment, or you've finally reached that checkpoint, or whatever it is, the satisfaction is so sweet. You know, because you know you really worked for it. You know that you really, you know, paid your dues to make it happen. I think that it can be so rewarding when that happens. And I think it kind of gives you a better appreciation for when you finally gotten there. You know, and that's kind of like a life lesson. If you're given $100 versus if you have to earn $100 through a $10 an hour job, you're going to appreciate that money that you worked for more than... Oh, I hate it when they glitch out like this. But you're going to appreciate that money that you worked for a lot more than the gift that you receive. You know, people, there are stereotypes all over the place about, you know, the rich kids who are given a ton of money from their dad. You know, those kids aren't always have a lot of incentive to work hard or to be really persistent or hardworking, you know, because they've got everything just given to them. And so I think that it can be extremely rewarding if you're grinding for something and you finally get it. And also I think that this is a mechanic that has been in video games for a long time, and I think it would just it's almost come to the point where it's almost an essential element. You know, if you think back to like those old 2D Mario side-scrollers, Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, you know, you had to grind through levels that kind of sucked or kind of were hard in order to get to a boss. Like if you're going through a castle, a lot of times you'd have to figure out a puzzle or, you know, get through some really annoying ghosts or something like that to get to that final boss and to get the satisfaction that you beat him. You know, and a lot of times RPGs will have this too. If you've played Skyrim or Diablo, you know, in Skyrim you have to work your way through a whole, you know, the dungeon is likely going to have a bunch of bandits and maybe some wizards and just a ton of little things that you have to do. Also maybe some mini games or some logic quests. But you have to grind through those to finally get to the point where you reach that final boss. You kill him and you get that last unlock, that you get that big thing of loot that you've been waiting for. And you know, Skyrim's a perfect example. Once you finally get there, you so appreciate killing all those bandits. Even though at the time it might have felt a little bit tedious, a little bit monotonous. Once you finally get there and you finally achieve that accomplishment, it feels so much better because you've worked for it, because you put in the time and the effort to get there. So yeah, I just want to say overall, appreciate the times when you have to grind and appreciate the tedious nature, because it's going to make the end goal so much sweeter, and it's going to make, you know, when you finally get that accomplishment, you're going to feel that pride, that joy, that satisfaction from, you know, a job well done. And I think that's important. I think that's one of the cool things about video games, and I think that that's a life lesson. You know, that's true in a lot of areas of life. But that's my time. This has been some Rush. We kind of went on a good spree here, but with 64-man server, it can be tough to really push up. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.